Hi guys, apologies for the slightly huey intro there. My webcam seems to be playing up, unfortunately. Well, it's been a long while since I did like a movie review or anything like that. I know I said I was gonna do Mrs Doubtfire next as my next review, and that is still planned. But I thought I'd try something a little different for my next video. I know Doug Walker, the guy who does the Nostalgia Critic and the Bum Reviews, who is an absolute comedic genius when it comes to internet movie reviewing, has already done this as himself, but it kind of made me want to say, well, I wonder what movies I could put together that I like but everyone hates, or movies that I hate and everyone likes. So, I'm gonna try it and just see what happens and just go from there, really. And this is, like, as always with my normal reviews, this is unscripted, it's not planned. But, like I said, I'm just a huge fan of the Nostalgia Critic, and seeing him do this as himself kind of made me want to put together my own list. And, obviously, this is all just opinion-based. This is my opinion, it's not gospel or anything like that, really. So, anyway, without further ado, I'm going to delve in firstly to the top 10 movies. It was going to be a top 5, but then I thought, I might as well go all out and make it a top 10. So, this is the top 10 movies that I like, but everyone else seems to hate. Anyway, starting at number 10, The Matrix Reloaded. I know it's a bad film, but it's certainly a hell of a lot better than The Matrix Revolutions, which for me just completely stopped the trilogy dead in its tracks right after the opening credits had rolled. At least with The Matrix Reloaded, it's an easy action movie to follow. I know the acting's pretty horrible, especially from Keanu Reeves in it, but when you compare it to the other sequel, it isn't that bad at all, and that's the reason why I like it, and I'm gonna stick with that opinion. Sorry that one was a bit short. Number 9, Back to the Future 3. I cannot think for the life of me why people hate this movie. I mean, it really wraps up the trilogy nicely. Yes, it's not as good as the first movie. It's absolutely impossible. In my opinion, even the second one's not as good as the first. But it's still a very well put together movie, and I love the way how they go back in time, so far back, and they have to cope with the ways and the way out, well, what little, and I mean little technology there was back in the 1800s. And it's a very satisfying ending as well. I mean, yes, the Clara character was a bit, oh my goodness, is she ever going to stop whining? But it's a very well put together movie, and Robert Zemeckis really ties up that trilogy really nicely. And you get more of the friendship between the Doc and Marty McFly, which I did enjoy. So that's my opinion anyway. At number 8, surprise, surprise, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Yet again, this is another movie that one person says they don't like, and everyone has to follow suit, saying why they don't like it, and it's mainly because of that scene at the end with the alien, and the fridge. Everyone knows it's completely impossible to survive a nuclear blast in a fridge. So, it's just like, why? you know. But it's Indiana Jones. It's meant to be far-fetched and it's meant to be fantasy. I mean, okay, the only thing that griped me was the fact that the alien was CG when it was supposed to be a tribute to the old 50s B movies, like Adventures of the Saucer People and things like that, where it was actually practical effects for the aliens, not CG. But, apart from that, I really enjoyed the film. There are some scenes that slow it down, such as the diner scene and the part where him and Mutt Williams are just talking, and of course the part that just gets everyone is when Indy starts trying to explain about quicksand and the sandpit, but that's quickly took away by comic relief from Marion's character. So yeah, it's another movie that I can't understand why people don't like it, but hey ho, that's me. Okay, number 7, and this might shock a lot of people. In fact, I think the next 6 movies the next 7 movies in my list are gonna shock a lot of people as to why I do actually enjoy them as movies. Okay, number 7 is The Spy Next Door. I know it's a kids movie, but at the end of the day, it's Jackie Chan, and he's doing a better performance in this movie than what he did in something like The Tuxedo, which was just damn godright awful. And it's a movie even I can't stand, and I know a lot of Jackie Chan films went into that film with high expectations. Jackie Chan films? I meant Jackie Chan fans, I apologise. Get my words right. Like I said, this is totally unscripted, so it's going to be a bit rough. But with The Tuxedo, Jackie Chan fans went into that movie really expecting something interesting, the way how he was finally starting to use CG work, and it just died on its arse completely. But with The Spy Next Door, you do get a sense of CG elements being used, and the villains are very over the top, but at the end of the day, it's a kids movie, but it's one of those kids movies that is watchable as an adult, purely for the fact Jackie Chan's in it, and he has some of the best practical fight scenes ever in movies, and he's one of the best stunt people in the business, and that's the reason why I like that one. Number 6, and this is probably one of the most shocking on my list, but Last Action Hero. I have not heard a single person say a good thing about this one movie. I mean, I know it bombed at the box office and Arnold Schwarzenegger got critically panned for it, but it's obvious that a lot of people didn't get the joke behind it. It was meant to be a parody on all the cinematic action cliches. I mean, why else would you cast Arnold Schwarzenegger? And yes, there are some pointless cameos like Tina Turner for some bizarre reason, and Robert Patrick and Sharon Stone. Sorry, my mind escaped me then for a second. But the Robert Patrick one makes sense, obviously, because of the Terminator. And the funniest part is when Arnie sees the Terminator 2 poster, but with Sylvester Stallone on it. That should have been the big clue. This is a parody. It's more of a comedy than an action movie. But people just didn't get it, and they still recategorized it as an action movie when, like I said, really it was a comedy. And a lot of people just didn't get that factor. And I'm probably going to be shot for saying I actually enjoyed it, but what can you do?